the January 6th Select Committee just issuing a statement in the last few minutes where they have announced that they are moving forward with a criminal contempt referral of Steve Bannon, the former White House counselor who in his life outside of the White House had become a big proponent of the big lie through various media appearances, and his support for the January 6th Stop the Steal rally, which of course served as the prelude to the insurrection that took place here at the Capitol. Of course, Bannon was subpoenaed a few weeks ago by this committee. He was asked to submit documents last week and then was supposed to appear today for a private deposition. And Bannon has been very defiant almost from the get-go. He told the committee in two separate letters that he was working with the former President Donald Trump to defend executive privilege, and that meant that he did not have to comply with their requests. Well, the committee obviously feels differently. Let me just read to you just a little bit of the statement that was issued by the committee chairman, Benny Thompson, here in the last few minutes. The Select Committee will not tolerate the defiance of our subpoena, so we will move forward with proceedings to refer Mr. Bannon for criminal contempt. I've notified the Select Committee that we will convene for a business meeting Tuesday evening to vote on adopting a contempt report.
All right, so that just in. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, I wish I could see your face, everybody. I wish I could just see your face right freaking now. Because everybody, that just heard that they, at the House Select Committee on January 6th, the Insurrection Committee, that they are going to issue a criminal contempt complaint against Steve Bannon. The joy that washed over your face, that your eye. But I need to see your face when I tell you what really is about to happen. I hate doing this. I hate to explain to you like what this means and what this doesn't mean, because what it doesn't mean means that we have a lawless freaking country. All right. So yes, on Tuesday night, the Select Committee that is investigating all of the organizers and the funding and the planning and the execution of the worst attack on our capital since 1812 by the British have sent a subpoena to at least four people who were two of whom were supposed to appear today, one of those being Steve Bannon. And Steve Bannon has said, I'm not going to cooperate. I'm not showing up. Make me, basically, through his lawyer. His lawyer said, listen, we don't know whether or not, Bannon has to appear. Maybe Donald Trump will exert executive privilege or some such thing. First of all, Donald Trump does not have executive privilege. Only Joe Biden has executive privilege because we only have one president at a time, and it ain't Donald Trump. Thank you, God. So Donald Trump doesn't get to do any of that executive privilege crap, okay? Also, know this. There is a crime fraud exception. I've said this to you a lot of times. I'm going to say it again in this context because it applies, and I don't hear much reporting about this particular aspect of invoking any privilege in our law, whether it's, I'm his wife, I can't testify, or he's my lawyer, he can't testify, or I'm the president and I won't let you be exposed for, testimony. I won't put you through it. There's a crime fraud exception, and that says that if you are invoking this privilege in furtherance of a fraud or a crime, or you're covering up a fraud or a crime, you can't claim privilege. So there's no executive privilege that can be claimed by Donald Trump for all those reasons, okay? They're investigating a crime, and we saw the crime. The crime was captured on freaking TV, okay? We heard Donald Trump tell people we're going to walk down to the Capitol and I'll be there with you. We heard the whole rally before. This is a battle between darkness and light. We heard the whole rally before. This is trial by combat. We heard there were a whole rally before where, Mo Brooks, you got to go up there and you got to kick some ass. Okay, so we know that this was a violent, organized, attempted overthrow of the certification of an election. Okay, so that's a crime. That's a big crime. That's called sedition. So there is no executive privilege. So Bannon's lawyer said, he will not provide testimony or documents until the committee reaches an agreement with former President Donald Trump over executive privilege. Just pierced a hole through that. Or a court weighs in on the matter. We reject this position entirely, the select committee said. We will not tolerate defiance. So next Tuesday, see you next Tuesday, the select committee will have a business meeting. That's what it's called. And the committee will then vote whether or not to approve a criminal contempt citation for Steve Bannon. From what everybody is reporting, there is unanimous agreement. There will be unanimous consent in the committee, where, by the way, it is bipartisan. Adam Kinzinger is, a Republican, and Liz Cheney is the vice chair of this committee. So the bipartisan committee is unanimous that they will issue a citation for Steve Bannon to be held in criminal contempt. Sounds really scary for Steve Bannon. Then what? Then the whole House will vote on whether or not to hold Steve Bannon in criminal contempt. The whole House. And we will probably prevail on that because we have the majority. And these are the people who were attacked. You would think the Republicans, you would think that the House Republicans who were also part of the attack would be, copacetic about finding out what the hell happened, but they won't be. But there are enough Democrats to say, yes, we need to find out about who paid for, who organized, who was trying to overthrow the election and the will of the American people. So we will prevail in the House. Then what? Yeah, Brett's going like this, handcuffs. No. Then the referral for criminal contempt will go and get sent to the Department of Justice, to Merrick Garland. Now, I have no earthly idea what Merrick Garland will do with this. I will tell you that this has never happened before. Almost every citation to hold somebody in contempt prior to this, I think every one of them, had been somebody who worked in an administration while the President of the United States was still President of the United States. So this is not that, because the former President of the United States, who never had Steve Bannon in his executive branch, or didn't have Steve Bannon in his executive branch since 2017, is claiming protection under the former president's executive privilege when Steve Bannon wasn't even part of that administration during the time period for which we want documents and testimony. And it was in furtherance of a crime, fraud, and a violent attack in order to overturn the results of a free and fair election. You see what I mean? But then what happens? Let's say Merrick Garland is okay with the scenario, saying he's not president. Bannon didn't work in the administration during that time. There was no claim of executive privilege, blah, blah, blah. Then what? Then where does it go? What happens then? Yeah. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.